Today is the anniversary of the death in 1980 of Otto Frank, the father of Anne Frank, whose diary recounting the experiences of the family in hiding for 2 years from the Nazis. As a Jewish family, obviously they would have been arrested, as indeed eventually, when the hiding place was discovered, they were, and sent to Auschwitz. Late in 1945, after Otto had been released from Auschwitz after its liberation, he returned to Amsterdam, and the family with whom who had been hiding them had rescued the diary and one or two other things from the flat before the Nazis cleared it out. And so he had this memento of his daughter, and indeed through this diary of his wife and other daughter. And he apparently took this little draft, this diary that she'd written, around to some people who had been neighbours before the war. Eva Schloss, who's the daughter of the neighbouring family, recounts how Otto Frank brought the diary round to read it. But it took him 3 weeks because he could only read a very small amount at a time. And Eva also recounts how she had a conversation with Otto about what Eva, should be doing with her life. And Otto said, well, look, I've got a camera. Why don't you have it and study photography? Which is in the end what she did. And he gave her the Leica camera with which he had taken many of the photographs that we now associate with Anne Frank, and the camera which had been also rescued by their host family. Finally, in the end, Otto found some happiness in spite of his grief, because he married Eva's mother later on in life. But I wanted to just think about the way he dealt with grief. First of all, he made sure he had companionship, people who would surround him while he dealt with it. He went round to Eva's parents' home in order to read the book. The diary. He didn't try reading it on himself. And then he used a physical object, something that Anne had actually held and written, in order to help him to really come to terms with the sadness and to deal with it. He didn't just put it away in a corner, as he might have done if he didn't want to face up to it. He actually read it through quietly and slowly, of course, but he did it in order as a way of facing up to his grief. And then he found a way of making something good come out of the sadness by passing on this Leica camera, which he said he no longer wanted because he had no longer a family to take pictures of, to someone who could make better use of it. And these things struck me as being valuable ways of dealing with grief, finding companionship within it, finding objects which can help us to deal with our grief, facing up to it, and if we can, finding something valuable to bring out of it. And all sorts of grief, bereavement, and all sorts of other kinds of loss can be dealt with in these and, of course, in other ways. But I thought the example of Otto Frank might help any of us who are facing loss or sadness at the moment.